Okay.
Hey guys, and welcome to Tnashi's Movie Corner. And today we will be discussing Mission Impossible Rogue Nation, which came out on July 31st. And in this movie, Ethan and his team take on their most impossible mission yet, eradicating the Syndicate, an international rogue organization as highly skilled as they are, committed to destroying the IMF. And this was directed by Christopher McQuarrie. I might have said that wrong. Forgive me. And he also wrote the screenplay of it. And this movie stars Tom Cruise, Jeremy Renner, Simon Pegg, Rebecca Ferguson, with Ving Rhames, and Sean Harris, as well as Alec Baldwin. So, now I've already reviewed the first four in the series, and if you haven't seen that yet, go ahead and go check that out. Appreciate it. And overall, I like the series. The second one was my least favorite, as it was for many people. But people have different opinions on it. So I went into this one looking hopeful, especially because the third one was so good, and then the fourth one was really good. And I've heard good things about this already. So going into this movie was great. This movie is a really good movie, a really good piece of the franchise, and it looks like it's still going strong, and it's going to continue to do so. So, props to them for that. There were some really good action sequences in this movie. You've seen from the trailer with him hanging on to the plane, and that's really cool. And actually, not really a spoiler since you've seen the scene, but this does take place earlier on in the movie. So even though they made a big deal about it in the trailer, it's covered and gone through real quick in the movie. So that was interesting. Also, one of my biggest problems with the Mission Impossible franchise is it does focus on Ethan Hunt, Tom Cruise's character, more, and it literally sidelines the sideline characters. They're just not as involved. This one does it a little bit. However, Simon Pegg's character as Benji, he actually is really brought up constantly in this movie, and they really use him in this movie, and he works really well. And he's the humor part of the humor of this movie, and I think he delivers really well. And the humor overall in this movie is really, really good. Jeremy Renner as William. He does pretty good for his part. He's not as engaged in the movie, and from this movie, we can tell that originally it was brought to us that his character was supposed to take over for Ethan from the fourth one. That's what they were trying to introduce William in there and kind of edge Ethan out, because talking about Tom Cruise not continuing the franchise, and that's clearly no longer the case based on this movie. So. But I think he does a pretty good job in his role. Ving Rhames has been in, I think, all the movies so far as Luther, and he is more of sidelined than the others are. He does a little bit, and it's nice to see him, but he is one of the lesser supporting characters. Rebecca Ferguson in this movie, though, as Isla, she does a really good job. I believe her to be a badass. I enjoy her scenes and everything. And I think she works really well. Typical for the kind of way that these movies set up as individual movies. I highly doubt I'm going to see her in any of the future ones, but it would be nice to see her in future installments. And I think for this movie, she did her part really well. And then Sean Harris as Solomon did a really good job. I really enjoyed him as the villain. That's one of the things I think was missing from the fourth and the second and the first, really, is I didn't really like the villain. I did like the villain for the third, and I did like the villain here. So I really like the way he does the character, and I liked him, in and the Borgias, which he's also been in the TV series. So yeah, I think he really worked well here. I liked his voice. I liked the presence that he gave to the villain, and just how involved he was in the actual movie. And Alec Baldwin as Alan, who is, that he's kind of, I don't know if he's like the head of the CIA, and he does a good job for the role he has. He's not in it as much, but he does a good job nonetheless. So I really like the cast for this. I think for the most part, the characters had a lot to do. Visually, it looked great. A lot of good action scenes to go on. The plane, it's not the least one, but it's one of several moments in this film which are worked out really well. And for the most part, I really liked the way that the plot was progressing. I think it was really good. I will say this though, Rebecca's character as Isla, when you get into these movies, you kind of have to meet a criteria, and one of it seems when you're a female, and one a such role would be falling for Ethan's character, and wearing skimpy outfit at some point, and so that does occur, and it's just kind of funny that's like, because it reminds me very much of James Bond, and that's where some of the only similarities lie, the action being another one. But it's cool to see these action moments, especially when stuff does go wrong, and see how they work out of it. Keeps you a little on the edge of your seat. It's entertaining to watch. That being said, I do have some problems with it. Again, not all the characters were used as much, and I would have liked them to be used more. There are some kind of movie cliches that they go through. It would have been nice to kind of see this break away from it a little bit, but there are some moments that they really keep to. As well as much as I liked Solomon as the villain, and I enjoyed the first two acts really well, third act got a little sloppier for me, and I didn't tie up in the way that I didn't really enjoy the tie up as much as I liked getting to that point. So, but those are some problems in it. But it's not a perfect movie, obviously, but it's still a really good movie, and I really enjoyed it, and I enjoyed this one more than I enjoyed the other ones. And I know a lot of people like Ghost Protocol, and curious which one you guys prefer more. But rating it, I have to go ahead and give this one an 8 out of 10. I think it's really good, really strong, especially for being the fifth movie. Like, you don't really see that nowadays. The longer they go, the more kind of overburdened they get, and this one just maintains it, and so it makes me really look forward to the next one. But anyway, guys, that's my review. So if you've seen this movie, what did you think about it? Do you agree with my rating, or what would you rate this movie? Also, what is your favorite movie of the Mission Impossible franchise? And do you prefer Mission Impossible to the 007 movies? I'm actually curious which way you fall on that. But that'll wrap this up, and I appreciate you guys watching. If you enjoyed this, click that like button. Share my vids, subscribe to my channel, and watch my other videos. I'd love to hear more comments from you guys on them. Anyway, like I said, that'll wrap this up. So until next time, peace.